Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines this evening. Election dates announced for 5 states. Single-phase voting for Goa and Punjab on February 4th. 7-phase elections for Uttar Pradesh. Counting of votes on 11th of March. Two-day GST Council meet ends. Opposition-ruled states say April 1st target date for rollout elusive. BJP-ruled Gujarat says GST could be a reality only from September. Justice Jagdish Singh Khehar sworn in as 44th Chief Justice of India. Tenure of the first Sikh Chief Justice of India will last till August this year. Turkish police detains at least 5 suspected Islamic State group terrorists for the deadly Istanbul nightclub attack. Slain gunman identified, but attacker still remains at large. The Election Commission has announced the dates for the assembly polls in 5 states. While Goa, Punjab and Uttarakhand will have polls in 1 phase, Manipur will have a 2-phase poll and Uttar Pradesh will have 7 phases. 16 crore voters in 5 states are all set to exercise their franchise to elect new state governments in Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Goa and Manipur. The Election Commission announced the schedule for the assembly elections on Wednesday. Accordingly, Uttar Pradesh will go to polls in 7 phases on February 11th, 15th, 19th, 23rd, 27th and March 4th and 8th. Punjab and Goa will have elections on February 4th. Uttarakhand on February 15th. Manipur in 2 phases on the 4th and 8th of March. Counting for all states will be held on March 11th. CEC Naseem Zaidi said while the model code of conduct will come into effect immediately, candidates have been asked to make all expenses and receive donations about 20,000 rupees through checks.
Our media monitoring committee at district level will monitor whether these TV channels owned by political parties or candidates are carrying out publicity of their candidates, and such expenses will be included in the expenses of candidates.
In an attempt to make the voting process more voter-friendly, the use of VVPAT machines will be increased and the picture of the candidate will also appear on the EVM machine.
VVPAT machines will be used in increasing number in certain identified legislative assembly constituencies. Commission has decided that Goa state will be saturated with VVPAT. Ballot paper on electronic voting machines will have the photo of candidates. This is a new feature for these states.
The Chief Election Commissioner also said the internal feud in the ruling Samajwadi Party in Uttar Pradesh is under consideration. The Commission has also received a petition seeking to restrict the central government from presenting the budget on the 1st of February.
पिछले 2-3 दिन में हमारे पास प्रत्यावेदन आए हैं दोनों समूहों की तरफ से, एक श्री मुलायम सिंह जी की ओर से और दूसरा श्री राम गोपाल यादव एंड श्री अखिलेश यादव जी की ओर से। कल शाम श्री राम गोपाल यादव की ओर से एक डॉक्यूमेंट्स का पूरा डिटेल हमारे कमीशन में प्रस्तुत किया गया है। कमीशन सिंबल ऑर्डर के अंतर्गत पुराने प्रेसिडेंट्स को ध्यान में रख करके और निर्धारित प्रक्रिया जो हमेशा से फॉलो की गई कमीशन में, उसके तहत जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स हमारे सामने पेश किए गए हैं उसका परीक्षण करेंगे, एग्जामिन करेंगे और उस पर उचित निर्णय उचित समय पर लेंगे।
Each family will get a voter guide with details of the voting procedure. 1,85,000 polling stations will be set up for the 690 assembly constituencies in 5 states. Vishal Dahiya's report for Rajya Sabha Television. And joining me for a chat right now are our correspondents Kriti Mishra joining me from Lucknow and Vishal Dahiya joining me from Delhi as well. Vishal, let me begin with you, of course. First, a big announcement as far as the Election Commission is concerned. Many political parties were waiting for the dates to be announced. The dates were announced earlier today. You know, the largest and the most populous state in the country, Uttar Pradesh, the polls are being held there over 7 phases.
Well, Frank, if you could repeat your question, please, once.
Well, Vishal, I hope you can hear me now. Of course, the Election Commission announcing dates for 5 assembly polls to be held from February to March. Uttar Pradesh, the country's largest and most populous state, of course, polling will be held over 7 phases there.
Well, yes, indeed, the most important and, in fact, the most keenly watched and celebrated festival of Indian democracy has begun in these 5 states. In fact, at the beginning of the new year itself, the Election Commission has made this announcement. The Model Code of Conduct has already come into play. And although the nomination process will begin from 11th of January in Punjab and Goa, but the real deal will be in Uttar Pradesh. Obviously, the Punjab and Goa elections are also equally important as far as the political fight between the Congress and Aam Aadmi Party and BJP is concerned. But then Uttar Pradesh is the place which one reason being that it is the largest state. Two, the reason being that it also has a lot of political importance for all those parties who want to play a major role at the center out here. So clearly, the game of thrones in the state of Uttar Pradesh will begin from 11th of February, and there will be 7 phases till 8th of March. The counting will take place on 11th of March, just 2 days ahead of the festival of Holi. So obviously, it's going to be really, really interesting to see as to what happens from here onwards. However, a very interesting twist which has come into the tale is the ongoing internal strife between the Samajwadi Party, and as we heard in the report which was filed by me, that the Election Commission is yet to take a call on that. So obviously, there are several twists and turns which are yet to come in that particular aspect. Apart from that, if you look at the preparation of the Election Commission and what all EC has done, well, the EC has taken some more new steps this time around, apart from ensuring that the candidates, if they are accepting donations and making expenses of more than 20,000 bucks, then that will have to be done through check or through online mode. Apart from that, all the candidates will have to file no dues, or rather no demand certificate from the electricity department, from the water department, and from the government accommodation on rent if they are on rent on any government accommodation. A clear step towards ensuring transparency and ensuring a corruption-free environment in one way, that if the candidate does not produce those no demand certificate from these departments, then that will be taken very seriously by the Election Commission. And the usual steps as far as deployment of security forces are concerned, deployment of observers are concerned, that is something which the Election Commission has done as is required in these particular states. But the challenge for the Election Commission this time around, apart from Uttar Pradesh, the largest state, will be holding peaceful elections in Manipur, which has been witnessing a blockade of the 2 essential national highways, which are a lifeline to the state for almost 2 months now. So clearly, that is a daunting task for the Election Commission there.
All right, stay with us, Vishal. I'll come back to you for another question in just a bit. But in the meantime, let me bring in Kriti Mishra into the picture as well, who's joining us from Lucknow. Kriti, as far as the parties in Uttar Pradesh are concerned, how have they reacted to the dates being announced? And of course, more importantly, the issue of the feud between the father and son duo in the Samajwadi Party, that is something that needs to be keenly watched as well.
Well, that's right, Frank. Tuesday also brought no respite for the internal feud in the Samajwadi Party and the warring factions in the Samajwadi Party. Although hectic efforts were made throughout the day to douse the dissent, now Party insiders are telling us that Akhilesh Yadav has made 3 very specific demands. 1, complete authority over ticket distribution. 2nd, immediate expulsion of Amar Singh. And 3rd, non-interference of Shivpal Yadav. Now, all these 3 demands, Mulayam Singh Yadav doesn't seem to have, relented. So, probably the feud is likely to continue. And now, since the fight has reached the EC, and in fact, the poll dates have also been announced, so the party cadres are keenly watching what the decision of the Election Commission would be. Over to you, Frank.
All right, we'll have to leave to that. Kriti Mishra and Vishal Dahiya, thank you so much for joining us. Kriti, do stay with us. Of course, I'm going to come back to you for a reaction on the next story that we're tracking here on Rajya Sabha TV as well. Now, the feud within the Samajwadi Party refuses to die down, like you rightly pointed so. On Wednesday, 2 efforts to find a midway continued, with Azam Khan renewing efforts to broker peace between Akhilesh Yadav and Mulayam Singh Yadav. Khan met Mulayam Singh Yadav at his residence during the day, even as Shivpal Yadav also met his elder brother as they tried to figure out their next step in the family saga. Akhilesh Yadav had met Mulayam on Tuesday too, but with both sides unrelenting, no solution was to be found.
संवाद का दरवाजा बंद नहीं होना चाहिए। अगर संवाद का दरवाजा बंद हो जाएगा तो फिर बात बिगड़ने के सिवा कुछ नहीं है। तो कंफ्यूजन की राजनीति नहीं होना चाहिए, बिल्कुल बात साफ साफ होनी चाहिए। जो भी बात तय हो वो बिल्कुल एक तरफा हो।
अखिलेश के नेतृत्व में जो चुनाव लड़ा जाए, उसी पार्टी को, उसी समाजवादी पार्टी को वो समर्थन करें और उन्हें फिर से मुख्यमंत्री बनाएं।
Kriti, coming back to you now, of course, we've seen that several meetings, several parleys have taken place within members of the Samajwadi Party to try and broker some kind of peace between the two warring factions. But no peace seems like it's in sight at the moment, at least.
Well, that's right, Frank, because Akhilesh Yadav's camp is extremely confident that 90% of the party is rallying behind Akhilesh Yadav. So they're extremely confident that even in EC, they would be in a stronger position to stake claim for the symbol. As far as Mulayam Singh Yadav's camp is concerned, they're confident that according to the bylaws and according to the rules and systems, Mulayam Singh Yadav will have a stronger say. So both the parties are confident that they would get the symbol. In fact, today, hectic efforts were made by a lot of leaders, and of course Azam Khan spearheading the movement to broker peace in the party, but nothing concrete and no compromise could be worked out. So let's see how things pan in future now. Frank?
All right, Kriti Mishra, we'll have to leave to that. Thank you so much for joining us there with those details and putting things into perspective for us. Well, moving on now, on a day when the Election Commission announced the dates for the Uttar Pradesh election, the leading contender for the People's Mandate, the Samajwadi Party, is still grappling with a tussle over leadership. It's said that the family feud started with a 4-page letter written by MLC Udayveer Singh in October. Udayveer cautioned Samajwadi Party Chief Mulayam Singh against the conspiracies being hatched in his family. Expelled from the party later, Udayveer spoke to Rajya Sabha television about the issues that are dragging down the party.
मेरे साथ हैं उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री अखिलेश यादव के करीबी माने जाने वाले एमएलसी उदयवीर सिंह जी। कि आपकी पार्टी में चल क्या रहा है? स्क्रिप्ट है, नाटक है, या फिर वाकई ये वर्चस्व की लड़ाई है?
कोई भी राजनीतिक समझदार व्यक्ति ये नहीं कह सकता कि ये स्क्रिप्ट है या नाटक है, और मैं ये कहूँगा आपसे, ना ये वर्चस्व की लड़ाई है।
कुछ लोग कौन है ये? अमर सिंह का तो लगातार नाम आप लोग लेते आए, बाकी ये कुछ लोग और कौन है?
अमर सिंह जी हैं, हमारे प्रदेश के अध्यक्ष शिवपाल सिंह जी हैं, जिनकी जो भी महत्वाकांक्षाएँ थी उनका इस्तेमाल अमर सिंह जी ने किया। उसके अलावा कुछ सीनियर लीडर्स भी थे जो सोचते हैं कि जैसी राजनीति है वैसी ही रहनी चाहिए, हमारी स्पेस कम नहीं होनी चाहिए। तो मुख्यमंत्री इस कन्वेंशन से ये साबित हुआ कि सब तरह के लोगों का मुख्यमंत्री को समर्थन है, जनता का समर्थन है, कार्यकर्ताओं का समर्थन है।
अच्छा, ये बताइए उदयवीर जी, क्या सुलह होगी?
कोई झगड़ा नहीं है जिसकी सुलह हो। सैद्धांतिक बातें हैं। मुख्यमंत्री जी नहीं चाहते कि ऐसे लोगों को पार्टी में लिया जाए जिनसे पार्टी की लंबे समय के लिए छवि खराब हो, या उनकी खुद की छवि खराब हो, या सरकार की छवि खराब हो।
तो साफ तौर पर उदयवीर जी का कहना है कि अखिलेश यादव अब एक ब्रांड की तरह उभर गए हैं। लखनऊ से कैमरामैन शिव कुमार के साथ कृति मिश्रा, राज्यसभा टीवी।
Meanwhile, a day after the CBI arrested Trinamool Congress leader Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, TMC party workers hit the streets in West Bengal and New Delhi in protest. Demonstrators also picketed Union Minister Babul Supriyo's residence in Kolkata, demanding his arrest. The BJP headquarters was attacked yesterday by people carrying TMC flags. Alleging growing lawlessness in the state, the party urged Governor K.N. Tripathi to send a report to the centre demanding imposition of President's rule. A TMC delegation led by Party Secretary General Partha Chatterjee also met the Governor and complained of political vendetta by the centre against TMC. The TMC also took out processions at various places, organised rail blockades and staged protests. In Delhi, party MPs took out a protest march towards the Prime Minister's residence. They were taken into police custody before they could reach 7 Lok Kalyan Marg. Bandyopadhyay is the second TMC MP after Tapas Pal to be arrested within a week in connection with the Rose Valley chit fund scam. Mamata Banerjee has accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi of using central agencies like the CBI, Enforcement Directorate and Income Tax Department against his political rivals.
This is Modi Hatao, Desh Bachao. This is not only financial emergency. When Parliament was on, we were saying it was financial emergency. Now we are saying this is against emergency, this is against political vendetta, this is against arresting people. They have doing these things because we are opposed to नोटबंदी.
दुर्भाग्य से ममता बनर्जी भ्रष्टाचारियों की चैंपियन हो गई हैं, उनकी वकील बन रही हैं और संविधान को भी तार-तार कर रही हैं. ये देश कानून से चलता है. ममता बनर्जी आपकी दादागिरी से देश नहीं चलता है. तो हम विनम्र प्रार्थना करना चाहते हैं ममता बनर्जी को कि अनर्गल आरोप लगाना बंद करिए, कानून का सहयोग करिए. जिसने भी भ्रष्टाचार किया है, जिसने भी गरीब को लूटने का काम किया है, उनके खिलाफ सख्त एजेंसियां कार्रवाई करेंगी.
Well, in other news now, M.K. Stalin has been appointed as the working president of the DMK at a general body meeting of the party. This was the first time in 48 years that party patriarch M. Karunanidhi did not participate in a general body meeting. Stalin is the second son of Dayalu Amal and Karunanidhi, and he had to win his biggest internal party battle against elder brother M.K. Alagiri, who controlled the southern helm of Tamil Nadu until the period he was evicted from the party. After taking charge, Stalin said that he would stand by his father Karunanidhi's views and do what he says. He also said that being working president was not just a post but a responsibility. Before being elected president, Stalin was the treasurer in the party. But the deteriorating health of Patriarch M. Karunanidhi forced the party to look at younger leaders. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Letter which you have written seeking a fair selection process as far as the national awards are concerned.
People who are in charge of the conduct of the national awards and also Indian panorama, they seem to be totally unaware of what these are meant for.
Many of the critics of your films, they say that your films don't communicate with the common man.
Who is the common man?
Do you think that in a democratic setup like India, censorship really can thrive as a concept?
It's a very wrong concept. There should not be any censorship in any form, anywhere.
Watch To The Point with the man who revolutionized Malayalam cinema, Adur Gopalakrishnan, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Homai Vyarawala, better known by her pseudonym Dalda 13, was India's first woman photojournalist. Vyarawala entered the field of photojournalism in the late 1930s. For nearly 30 years, till she retired in the early 1970s, at the peak of her career, she made a massive impact. Vyarawala clicked some iconic pictures of political and national leaders. Gandhiji, Nehru, Jinnah, Indira Gandhi, have been subjects of her vast photographic collection. Prime Minister Nehru, she says, was her favourite. In 2011, Homae Vyarawala was conferred the Padma Vibhushan, the country's second highest civilian award.
Ghatam, one of the oldest and most unique percussion instruments of southern India. You can play it not only with your fingers, but palms, wrists and heels as well. You'd be surprised, but the air inside the Ghatam reverberates, creating the musical notes. 5 elements of nature: earth, water, air, fire and space make up the composition of this beautiful musical piece, which has found an apt place in most of the ancient books.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. Well, the deadlock over the goods and services tax continues, with the centre and states refusing to budge from their respective positions on issues like control of tax payers and taxing high sea trade. This is a stalemate that threatens to delay the rollout till September. The two-day meeting of the GST Council, the 8th in a row, made little headway in brokering a solution, even as non-BJP-ruled states saw September as the more likely deadline for the rollout of the indirect tax regime. The next meeting of the council will be held on January 16th, where the issue of jurisdiction over assesses would be discussed. Kerala Finance Minister Thomas Isaac said that the other remaining issues before the GST Council include ways to fund the compensation to states for GST rollout and states' participation in integrated GST.
We'll be meeting again on the 16th of this month and have a sitting to really conclude the discussion on those specific points. The drafts have been now, the legal drafts with the gaps, the gap means the undecided issue, are now being sent for legal vetting, after which they'll be circulated in the GST Council for a formal approval. Now, obviously, when I refer to the gaps, it refers predominantly to 2 or 3 issues, or issues falling under 2 big heads. And if I may just illustratively explain to you, the first retains to the definition of the word territory, and the second deals with both cross-empowerment and dual control.
Well, moving on now, Justice Jagdish Singh Khehar was sworn in as the 44th Chief Justice of India on Wednesday. President Pranab Mukherjee administered him the oath of office and secrecy at Rashtrapati Bhavan. 64-year-old Justice Khehar replaces Justice T.S. Thakur, whose tenure ended on Tuesday. He is the first Sikh Chief Justice of India, and his tenure will last till August this year. Then CJI T.S. Thakur had last month recommended Justice Khehar's name, the senior-most judge of the Supreme Court, to be his successor. Justice Khehar led the 5-judge Constitution bench in the Supreme Court, which had struck down the controversial NJAC Act for appointment of judges. He also headed the bench that had set aside the imposition of President's rule in Arunachal Pradesh. Well, here's a roundup of the other national news and nationwide. A Delhi court has granted bail to Sanjeev Tyagi, cousin of ex-IAF chief SP Tyagi, and lawyer Gautam Khaitan in the Augusta Westland chopper scam case. CBI's petition challenging the bail granted to SP Tyagi will be heard on January 9th. Tyagi was arrested by the CBI for alleged irregularities in procurement of 12 VVIP choppers from UK-based Augusta Westland during the UPA 2 regime. The Supreme Court has said that it will conduct day-to-day hearing on the appeals filed by Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Kerala against the Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal on water sharing. The Apex Court also reiterated its previous order and said that it will remain effective till further orders. On October 18th, the court had directed Karnataka to keep releasing 2,000 cusecs of Kaveri water to Tamil Nadu. Srinagar recorded the first snowfall of the season as most areas on the valley received overnight snow and rain. Srinagar has received rainfall of 12.4 mm during the last 24 hours, ending the state's longest dry spell in 40 years. The city recorded a minimum temperature of minus 0.1 degrees Celsius, while in Gulmarg it was minus 3.6 degrees. Moving on to some international news now. Turkey has established the identity of the gunman who killed 39 people in the New Year's Eve attack on an Istanbul nightclub. The Turkish foreign minister did not identify the attacker but emphasized that the Reyna nightclub attack was staged by professionals. The gunman, however, is still at large. Meanwhile, the Turkish police detained at least 5 suspected Islamic State group terrorists believed to be linked to the nightclub attack. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan said that the attack on New Year's Day was a deliberate attempt to divide the nation and that the state never meddled in how people lived. In another development, Turkish parliament voted to extend emergency rule by 3 months. Emergency was first imposed in Turkey after an abortive military coup on July 15th. The emergency enables the government to bypass parliament in enacting new laws and to limit or suspend rights and freedoms when deemed necessary. Turkey has formally arrested more than 40,000 people during the investigation of the coup.
Mesela Gaziantep saldırısına gösterilmeyen bu türden tepkiler ve yapılmayan değerlendirmeler Ortaköy saldırısına yapılınca oraya soru işaretini koymamız.
Well, here's a roundup of the sports news in Sportsbeat. India's Yuki Bhamri advanced to the second round of the Chennai Open after beating compatriot Ramkumar Ramanathan 6-1, 6-1 on Tuesday. However, India's highest-ranked singles player Saket Mainini crashed out in the opening round after losing to 7th seed and world number 57 Mikhail Yuzny of Russia in straight sets. In the Hopman Cup, France's Kristina Mladenovic and Richard Gasquet won their singles matches to give France victory over Britain. Gasquet and Mladenovic then won the mixed doubles tie to make the final score 3-0 for France. Meanwhile, the Czech Republic defeated the reigning champions Australia, ending their hopes in the competition. Azhar Ali and Yunus Khan led Pakistan's first innings reply against Australia in the third test in Sydney. Both batsmen completed half-centuries as Pakistan ended day 2 on 126 for 2, still trailing by 412 runs. Earlier, hosts Australia declared their first innings at 538 for 8. Peter Hanscombe joined David Warner and Matthew Renshaw as the third centurion of the Australian innings. Premier League team Hull City sacked head coach Mike Phelan on Tuesday. Phelan took over as caretaker manager following Steve Bruce's departure. He was given a permanent appointment in October. However, a series of poor performances saw Hull City picking up 3 points from the last 9 games as they slipped into the relegation zone. Well, that's it on this edition of the newscast. Have a good evening.